Ernie DeSantis has put in the time to build his Whitetail Institute food plots. And food plots in Michigan are not complete without the one and only Ben Oliverio of Michigan Food Plot Services. He's also put the time in to teach his daughter Vinny in the ways of hunting. Ernie taught her how hard work, doing things the right way, can lead to success. And when Vinny squeezed the trigger on this buck, she certainly did find success.
This is can opener. He was the buck that I was after last year, and I'm so glad I didn't take him last year. He is huge.
By helping his daughter Vinny take down her first deer, the hunting year for Ernie can already be deemed as a monumental success. Everything else is going to be considered icing on the cake. But when two stud bucks start visiting the food plot, Ernie realizes that this season is about to get even better. And while icing on the cake is certainly great, Ernie finds out that he can possibly put a cherry on top.
November 3rd. It's like college football. Anything can happen.
It's November 3rd.
It's time to go in. It's November 3rd.
By going to a set which is basically a 5-acre bedding area he calls the rut spot. It's a nursery where the does live.
Every single year the bucks come to it and they check the downwind side. And this blind is on the east side of this 5-acre bedding area.
So the bucks will cruise this edge on the food plot all day long for the entire rut. And guess who is going to be waiting in his blind, watching it all happen?
And the best thing about this spot though is that you can get in and out very easily. You don't leave much scent. So if we got the right wind, we're going to continue to hunt this spot a couple days in a row.
And just as planned, on November 3rd, a big buck shows up. It just so happens to be a buck Ernie named the Heavy 7.
True to form, I mean, it's perfect. Look up and there he is. A buck we call a Heavy 7, wide Heavy 7. There he is just standing there. And of course, he's bumping does he's at about 100 yards right now. But we know what he's gonna do. He's gonna skirt this ridge and swing up this way. And if he does, we'll be able to get that wicked ridge up and have a shot.
Just as soon as Ernie was excited to see Heavy 7, the mood quickly turned to disappointment as Heavy 7 didn't follow Ernie's plan.
So it's not gonna happen on that deer, is it? He hops that little ravine there and he's gone. The thing about this spot is that anything can happen at any time. It's a bedding area and they just feel safe to move in here all day long, especially on November 3rd.
To Ernie's delight, an ornery, big, nasty buck named the White 8 appears in a tall switchgrass.
This is a different buck. This is the Wide 8. And I know this buck. He's an ornery buck. He's a nasty buck. He's really wide, and that gives me an idea. We're gonna use that knowledge to our advantage right now because he's hanging up in this switchgrass. Obviously, there's a doe behind him, and she must be coming into heat. But a little grunt, snort, wheeze maybe could change his mind. He is coming in on a string, so we just need him to kind of cut in here now. And if he does, he's at 45 yards, and I'm taking the shot.
See him?
Oh, he's coming this way. Yeah, he's coming. He's the broken 8.
But the White 8 disappoints as well.
Just not in the cards, though, for that buck today.
The White 8 escapes. Exit left.
It's not all about that. It's about enjoying the time, and I'm just thankful to be here with you today and soaking it all up.
Ernie wasn't the only Whitetail Fix member hunting early November. In Indiana, Jesse Fullwider is in the urban zone, hoping to kill a doe to earn a buck tag with the Earn a Buck Doe program. Also with Jesse is Mike Marsteller's girlfriend Christine, who is also seeking a doe. Mike Marsteller is hunting for an elk in Montana, so Christine is teamed up with Jesse, and both are hoping they can both do a earn a buck double up if two does happen to show up.
We're 10 days into the urban season, season 7, on our very first hunt, and the reason being is because Hurricane Florence blew into town and brought with her some neat northeast and east winds, which absolutely kills our urban zone. So I'm in here trying to get my earn-a-buck doe killed 10 days late into season because I didn't want to disturb the area. The Whitetail Institute plots have done perfect from the rain from that hurricane, so that's the upside to it.
In another upside, it didn't take long for a doe to show up in the Whitetail Institute food plot for Jesse.
Baby, it's the earn-a-buck doe right there. I first hit her, oh my gosh, but it was such a hard angle when she turned the other way. You could see blood pouring out from that interlock broadhead. Those shapeshifters are amazing. We're gonna do the switch.
It's Christine's turn, and another doe has fortunately walked right beneath her stand.
What? Took us, 15 minutes?
And 15 minutes later, Jesse and Christine have both earned their urban earn-a-buck doe tag.
Tonight, while the kitties were away, the mice will play is what Christine and I have been saying. So Mike and John are off in Montana on elk hunts, and we decided to set the goal while they were gone to kill our earn-a-buck does. It just couldn't have worked any better than what it did. Congrats.
You too.
We don't need them anyway.
No, we don't.
Earn-a-buck does, check. Now it's time to go after some antlers.
Ernie is after some antler of his own, and luckily for Ernie, he doesn't have to do earn-the-buck doe up in Michigan. After being teased by a buck called Heavy 7 and Wide 8 on the day before, Ernie is hoping that on November 4th, Heavy 7 or possibly even Wide 8 will show up in his Whitetail Institute turn-up food plot.
This is the day you wait for. November 4th. The Whitetail Institute is just, it's perfect.
And the food plot is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, attract the deer.
And you know why you go to a food plot during the rut. Who comes to the food plot? The does do. And if the does are here on November 4th, the bucks will be here. Sure enough, guess who shows up? Not Three Brow. I know what you're thinking. You were thinking it was Three Brow. It's not.
You almost tricked me on that one.
It's not Three Brow, but instead a familiar face. The Heavy 7 is back at it again. It's November 4th. All that's needed now is for the does to show up and attract the big bucks.
The food plot is looking perfect. If the does are gonna be here, which they are, you know the bucks are gonna show up.
Good morning, everybody. Great state of Michigan. They ought to be on the move. Wish us blessings.
The weather is 35 degrees, and the does are piling into the food plot as expected. Well, luckily for Ernie, it didn't take long for a buck to make his way in to check out all the food and does this piece of land had to offer. And luckily for Ernie, it also happens to be one of the bigger bucks that he was targeting.
What a sight, too. The way this food plot is, it kind of bends down into this little ravine, into this big, giant timber block, and all you see is just this beautiful set of wide antlers. And no, it is not Three Brow, but it's a deer that we call the Heavy 7.
That's the Heavy 7. I can't see him. Just be calm. He's gonna be in here.
And you better believe if he comes close enough, I am absolutely, God willing, gonna take a shot at this guy.
That's the Heavy 7.
It's still early in the day, so Ernie knows he can wait patiently for the Heavy 7 as he's chasing does. Now Ernie knows a thing or two about being patient. Last year, when Ernie encountered a buck named the Old 7, he witnessed him exit the food plot and thought he was gone for good. But, as fate would have it, the Old 7 came back in and gave Ernie a clean shot with his 10-point. This year, Ernie has the heavy 7 in the food plot.
He's gonna follow this doe right in here.
Ernie is waiting with his new Wicked Ridge crossbow by 10 point.
Here.
Well, Ernie is uncertain about the shot.
Oh man, I just shot at the heavy 7, and as you can see, it's not pretty. I don't know if he took a step right before or what, but I just sent Rob Miller a text. He's gonna come and track. We have to give that deer 12 to 24 hours. The guts and the intestines, that is 100% mortality, but there's very, very little blood. You owe yourself and the deer every opportunity to be found. You'll hire a tracker like Rob Miller, state certified. I've got a lot of experience with this dog, Cypress, which is, she's tracked for my dad, she's tracked for Jose. So thanks be to God, we're gonna let this guy sit. I'm one of the best trackers I know, if not the best, especially here in Michigan.
The shot didn't exactly go as planned. So while Ernie is waiting for his friend Rob Miller from Michigan to assist with his dog in tracking this deer, all of the Whitetail Fix crew has had to make a judgment call after taking their shot. We asked the guys at Whitetail Fix, what lengths do you take to recover a deer?
Well, what lengths do you go to in order to recover it?
Oh, everything inside of the legal limits. So you have to know what the property lines are, obviously. But I would go to any length.
It's unlimited. I use any and every resource available to me.
My first step is to consider what kind of hit it is.
And kind of play it back in my head exactly what happened. And I've learned over the years that you do not go right after the animal.
Reviewing the footage. First thing I think, if you have an opportunity to look at the footage and then make that call whether you go right now or you go home for a while.
Leave no stone unturned.
We would also use a good friend of ours, Rob Miller.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. It's becoming more popular in Indiana to use a dog to track.
We owe it to that animal to not stop, to give it everything we've got. I'm calling Rob Miller. If it's legal in your state to use a deer tracker, I definitely would. Get on the track. If we don't recover it, we're gonna put in as many hours as we can day one.
Ernie shot a buck he calls Heavy 7 earlier in the day. Unfortunately, the deer moved and the shot looked a little back. So Ernie has called his buddy Rob Miller from Miller Deer Tracking and is eager to find his deer.
My good buddy Rob Miller from Michigan Deer Tracking Hounds. He's here and he helped us out. My man. How you doing, bud?
Good.
Good to see you.
Likewise.
I always want to see you, but not under these circumstances.
I always want to see you, so
I know.
we're good.
It's always good.
Yeah.
But it's obviously a gut shot. What are we looking at here? I know we're 14 hours after the shot.
My experience is deer shot in the morning during the daylight, especially mature whitetails, they'll go to the first bit of cover and hide, stay put.
Hold up.
Versus the deer at nighttime, they like to travel. They feel comfortable at nighttime. So hopefully in this case, your buck goes 100 yards, whatever it is, in the first bit of cover, and he's bedded there, done. Okay.
All right, let's get cracking,
get
brother. Let's go.
At the recovery of the arrow, they discover some great news.
Looks great.
Yeah?
I definitely think you might have got liver with these specks in it.
Oh, okay.
That's very common with the liver shot.
Okay.
I think your shot placement is better than what the video shows.
Really? Okay.
Because we don't have no bunch of stomach bile on it. Doesn't smell.
Any sting?
No.
No, it doesn't.
No.
But man, you saw where it went in.
You also see the deer contracting, so it may give us a false
sense of where it entered in there.
Let's try to find some hair and then we'll get the dog going.
Thankfully, the shot was better than expected, and this tracking dog is going to lead Ernie to the promised land.
Here's some more blood.
Just so thankful for this day. I mean, we collected the buck.
Ernie and Rob finally find the deer, and it's a welcome sight to begin the celebration.
You didn't bleed at all. Nothing.
Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Look at that big, heavy 7. Look at that deer. Thank you, buddy. Right, here it is. Thanks be to God. We recovered this beautiful, mature Michigan heavy horned 7-pointer. This is him. And as soon as I shot, obviously I always say a prayer, and then I text this guy right here. This guy is the man, but better than the tracking man, this is one of the best people I know. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting behind the deer he just recovered for me, but this guy is truly a genuine good guy. That arrow told it all, didn't it?
Absolutely.
Because the video, you'd swear, 100% punch, right?
Right.
Ernie is extremely happy and is excited to marvel at this mature Michigan buck he calls the Heavy 7.
I mean, this is a fully mature deer too.
Absolutely.
Like, he is a big, he's a bruiser, dude. I love it, man.
He saved the freak out for you, Rob. Usually he does that in the blind.
Yeah. We got to see the freak out right now, so yes. Thank you, brother.
Hey,
you
you're welcome.
are a blessing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. My gosh. Oh, so cool. The great state of Michigan, thanks be to God, is now official. And just when you think it couldn't get any better, there's a twist. He's a beauty.
He's a giant.
Wide 8. Oh my gosh. The DeSantis Daily Double
130 yards as a crow's fly.
with a heart shot. I cannot believe it. My dad got one too. Oh my gosh. This is incredible. I know what deer that was. He came by me yesterday. I had an encounter with him yesterday.
Dude, he's gotta be 18-inch spread.
Yeah, he's wide. He is wide.
There it goes. Ernie's on FaceTime. Your boy Ernie is on, he's watching you right now. Hey Ernie, what's going on, man?
Congrats, man. He's a beauty.
Hey, father, son, both get lucky number 7. Can you believe that? They want to see the rack.
Wow. The DeSantis Daily Double. By the time you finish cleaning up the deer, right, and getting it gutted and taken care of, and
You say you finished cleaning up the deer. You cleaned up the deer? Really? Wow, I'm impressed.
Well, I might have held its leg.
she did. She did.
I did.
She did hold the leg.
I did.
Okay.